Ladies and gentlemen, this is our lovely train manager, Deb. Hey, Deb.
Hi, how you going?
I'm good. Thank you for consenting to do this interview. So, this isn't the first time that I've met Deb. Guys, Deb remembers me from when I was a child.
It means I've been on here too long.
You can't be here too long. Anyway, so like I said, Deb, thanks for consenting to talk a little bit about Journey Beyond's wonderful accessibility. So first, we're going to start with a little bit of info about our train today/yesterday. So how much trainage do we have here? Trainage is not a word, but it is now.
Well, we're 29 carriages long. We're being hauled by one locomotive, so just a little over 700 metres in length and around 1,400 tonnes. So do you want me to break it down further as to what type of carriages?
Yeah, go on.
Okay. We have 3 restaurant cars on board. We have 4 lounges. One of those is half like restaurant seating for our platinum. We have 3 platinum sleeping carriages, and then we have, what have we got, 4, 8, 12 gold sleeping carriages. 2 of those are our single carriages with solo travellers. We've got 3 crew cars. We have 2 power vans, which supply us all our power as we travel along, and we have 1 luggage van, so where you can check in your larger cases. You only bring a little travel bag into your room with you.
So with the power that we have on board, we've got electricity for approximately 400 people at the moment. So how do we get electricity on a moving train?
Well, our power vans are one at either end of the train. They power 14 carriages each, and they have 3 what we call generator sets in them. So mostly at any one time we have 2 running, and they just power all of our carriages. So we have 240 volts. You can bring phones, whatever, and plug in. It's really safe. And that, we have lighting, we have music through the carriages. So most of your cabins have 3 power points in them, pretty much.
She says as she takes a look.
Counting.
So I mean, Journey Beyond has great accessibility, but it's not necessarily something that you guys train for, is how to help someone who's vision impaired or blind, but you do an outstanding job. The first question I always get is, how do we toilet the dog? Now, I've tried to explain it so many times. I did take a couple of photos yesterday when you were trying to sink into ballast up to your knees, trying to get Penny back on the train. So how are you guys taught to manage the dog's toileting?
Well, it's just, we take our cues from you, especially like with your commands. I mean, I'm lucky I've had a lot of experience over the years with looking after guests that are blind and with their dogs on board. And we take the opportunity when we cross other trains, especially out on the Nullarbor or wherever, and we talk to the drivers, and we get permission to get off and go for a quick walk where we can toilet the dogs for you. Mostly it's only a 10-minute stop, so we have the ability to take them off, give them a bit of a comfort stop, and then bring them back on for you. So sometimes it's hard with the steps because they're not used to it, but most times, like you saw yesterday, if it's not me, we can get someone to help, and Marty came down and helped lift Penny back on when we were sinking in the ballast. But today she did a great job getting back on at Cook. She just banded straight back up. So amazing. She's, if you let us know what they're scared of and whatever, we can help you out. So.
And I mean, you guys are also really good with things like reading menus and stuff in the restaurant. I've been actually very, very fortunate this trip. The lady in the cabin next door to me has, we've shared meals and she's read the menu and stuff. But, people just have to ask.
Yeah, that's
it, Deb.
Absolutely, You just need to ask and we'll help you.
Yeah. So that's vision impairment kind of covered. what about other disabilities like physical disabilities? Is there wheelchair access on the train?
We do. Most of our trains have at least one cabin, which we call either our Pullman or our Access cabin. It has a larger bathroom. It's got clamps in it to hold wheelchairs in place. It's got the full access bathroom for you. The doors are wider to get wheelchairs in and out. A lot of times it's best if you have a carer with you if you need a little bit of extra assistance. So the staff are not trained as carers. We are hospitality based staff first and foremost. So
there is on my YouTube channel, guys, there is actually a video I did of a very brief tour of an Access cabin back in 2016, so it probably has changed. I noticed that when we were in Cook this afternoon, I'll turn the camera on.
Yeah.
I noticed that when we were in Cook this afternoon, and they were announcing the musician was going to do some performances, I noticed that Car H, which is where I remember the accessible cabin used to be, was actually platinum now. So
yeah, it's actually Car C now. Sorry, Mel, it's Car C. So you walk past it. But maybe if you ask Leah, she might be able to show you tomorrow, and you can get some video footage if you like.
We might have a look at it tomorrow. So with the wheelchair, last time I was on board with a friend of mine in a wheelchair, we actually had a small onboard wheelchair, and the delight of a totally blind person walking backwards pulling the wheelchair from one carriage to another, and then having to return to the cabin and collect the guide dog. So I think it's really important to note that, as Deb just said, they are hospitality attendants, they are not carers, and if you need the onboard wheelchair, to make sure that you bring a carer. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah. Thank you. Is there anything else that you think people need to know and be aware of about the Indian Pacific, the GAN, the Great Southern? They're all exactly the same from an accessibility point of view.
Well, on the wheelchair thing, we have the narrower one that does go down the corridors, so that for that use on board. We also have ramps so we can go across the gap in the platform. On the GAN, we also have a lift machine, so because there's no platforms level with the train, so we have a lift, so for Alice Springs and Catherine and Darwin, so to get accessibility folks on and off a little bit easier. So
yeah, excellent. So Deb, another random fact, how many steps do you take a day?
Oh my goodness me. When I'm on the train, I walk about 10-12 kilometres a day. So
that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
And do you have thinking back to guide dog, do you have a favourite guide dog, memory, something funny or silly that's happened when you've had a dog on train?
Yes, one of the funniest ones was we had a fella that used to travel quite regularly, 3 or 4 times a year. His name was Ernie, and he had Heidi, was his dog, and I had to get off at Orange coming back from Sydney to Adelaide, and I'm taking her out to get her to do a quick, and it was snowing, and all I had on was a short sleeve shirt, and Heidi wasn't playing. So, and actually there was another time out here on the Nulla, I took her off and we had a wedge-tailed eagle circling above the top of us, so that was a bit daunting.
That would have been very scary.
She was just happy to be outside and wasn't doing her quick thing, so yeah. But yeah, it's great for us, especially when, you're okay with us having a bit of a pat and that, so it's good for our soul to have a pat with your working dogs as well.
Yeah.
So they're so amazing.
And I understand Pen helped water the train earlier.
She did. She was out with us watering the train, so while she was having a bit of a leg stretch.
Yeah, and look, everyone, Deb's totally tired her out. She's sleeping. It's actually the quietest I've seen her in 5
she's
days.
Been such a good girl this trip.
All right, Deb, thank you so much.
Oh, my absolute pleasure, Belle.
For the interview. Thank you also for, just being here, and just, the wonderful work that you have done over such a long time.
Oh, you're more than welcome.
I'm going to tear up if I keep going. So
I'm just so glad. It's so nice to see you again.
I know,
I'm
it's
pleased to
so
see you.
good. All right, thank you so much, Deb.
It's my pleasure.
Guys, we're now in the Access Pullman's cabin. When you step through the door, it's a 0.8 meter wide door, so it's plenty enough room for a wheelchair. When you step through the door, on your left is the door into the bathroom. On the bathroom door there is a rail with a floor mat on it, and there is also a hook on the door. To your right, when you step in, is the toilet. There is a pull down grab rail on what is the left of this toilet, and a grab rail on the wall of the toilet of the right. Then there is the shower, which is obviously flat floor with a shower chair, curtain that wraps all the way around, and guttering that goes all along there to keep water flow. And then you have the sink, mirror, stuff like that. So that's the bathroom. Extra wide door there as well, of course. And then next to the bathroom door, on the left as you're coming out of the door, is the radio control panel, a dual power point, and a light switch. Then next to those, when the wall goes away, on the corner of the wall there is a staff call button, and then there is a small little sticking out piece of wood there that you could use to put some stuff on, next to the first of the two chairs, which obviously comes down as a bed. Then along where the first chair would fold out when it becomes a bed is a table with some magazines and information, some water bottles, some hand sanitizer. Then we have the window, another small table, and then opposite the window and the tables is a second chair which will fold down to a bed. Next to that there is a hospital style adjustable table, and in behind that is a wardrobe, and on the floor are clamps for a wheelchair. So that is the access cabin.